Welcome everyone to this very special event to pay homage to our dear friend Eric Quezada. Gracias a todos por estar acá celebrando la vida de nuestro compañero Eric Quezada. It's great to see everyone out here. My deepest condolences to the Quezada extended family. I first met Eric in 1989 at Chico State. He rolled through Professor George Wright's backyard on an undersized dirt bike. On a perfect summer night in Chico, no shirt with those 80s short shorts, and sporting a Jufro. No, I'm sorry, that was me. According to him, his were dark curls of the Mayan rainforest of Tikal. Check out my nose, he would say. It's 100% Mayan. I'm of direct lineage to Quetzalcoatl, he'd say, joking. He was so proud of his Guatemalan roots. Eric had a great smile. I think it was his great secret. Mayans don't have curly hair, I'd say. You sure you're not from the conquistador bloodline? Morosi, that was the beginning of our relationship. We could definitely push each other's buttons. We became quick friends, having so much in common. Central American ancestry, sports fans, diehard Giants and Warriors especially, exercise junkies, upcoming student progressives, and my childhood friend, Paul Vaughn, who's in the house right here. Paul Vaughn, he's over there. He introduced me to Eric. Paul and a crew of Chico students started the PSU, the Progressive Student Union, and Eric soon followed as part of the core. We found out our radical beliefs had value. In coming together, we discovered the power of solidarity and collective action for the first time in our young lives. This experience put each of us on a path that led us to lifelong commitments and high expectations about what the world should look like. We became straight-up anti-capitalists. We found out once, Paul and Eric used to live at this an apartment called 310 Normal. And once they invited me over to lunch, and the first thing I saw was this massive Italian communist flag in the living room. I knew I was in a different place. Hey, Morosi, get some plates from the table, Eric would call out. I look over there and there would be a pile of Nation magazines, Z magazines all over the table. Where are the plates? I can't see them. They're on the table, he would shout out. So I start unearthing the pile, and suddenly I see 6 cockroaches the size of bowling balls scatter over Chomsky's Turning the Tide. We all love that book. Did you find them? Yeah, I found them. You know you got some cockroaches? That reminds me, Morosi, you have to read that book, The Revolt of the Cockroach People by Oxford Zeta Brown. It's a must. I devoured it. He wouldn't sweat the small stuff. The movement was much more important than some unwashed dishes. Okay, raise your hand, anyone who ever washed Eric's dishes. Come on, raise your hand. All right. Paul and Eric were 2 peas in a pod, Marxist Slavs, I would say. Of course, I ended up making both of them lunch while they worked on a student campaign to divest the university's money out of South Africa. By the way, our action was to put a newspaper-filled dummy underneath a 15-foot cardboard Coke can in the middle of campus. Scared the heck out of those conservative farm boys, by the way. We won that campaign, too. It's been a secret all these years I have to come out. We had many things in common. One was that both Eric and I scored under 800 in our SAT scores. It went down like this. I don't know how it came up, but we were both trying to figure out how bad our scores were. And he goes, below 1,000, Morosi? Maybe below 1,000? All right. I guess it was safe for me to tell him. And I said, yeah, I scored below 1,000. I actually had scored 760. He starts cracking up. He says, I got a 780. I never met anyone stupider than you. He smiled, and we both laughed. We vowed never to share that with anyone. It was our secret, and plus we were going to make up the Latino wing of the Revolutionary Vanguard. And we both agreed that one would support two Chico grad knuckleheads with a combined score of 1540 on the SAT. We blame the lack of bilingual education and bonehead English classes for our failures. It wasn't us. We both moved to San Francisco. His first job was in East Palo Alto. And Eric actually got me my first interview after college. It was for the director of an all-women's cleaning service collective. I was up against 3 Chicana militants. Let's just say I didn't fit the profile. I didn't get the job, but got a valuable experience. I remember the Mission Housing days. I was to have a meeting with him about a new garden that he had spearheaded and Slug had helped design, later be known as the Secret Garden. Meeting was at 10. He'd roll in at 11. While waiting, I'd go chill, hang out with Dede and Alex and Lily, wander around, and maybe catch Monica, Amy, or Wendy in their cubicles at Mission Housing. He knew he was surrounded by some powerful women, truly dedicated to the movement. Later, we organized with Poder and Jerry to help build and design Parque Niños Unidos Park. We had also had rituals in SF. As you well know, we were big Giants fans. We used to play strikeout at James Lick Middle School. We named it Ohlone Field. Pancho, Eric, and I were the diehards, along with guest appearances from Cisco, Mikey, Jay, Julio, and Joaquin. Folks, we took this stuff serious. His determination, focus, unwavering, sometimes dogmatic approach extended not only to his politics. Eric always gave it his all. Brother was not the most talented. Sometimes he couldn't throw a strike for the life of him, but somehow he willed his comrades, teammates to their best effort. Going to Giants games was also a big part of our lives. Every Giants game, when it came down to the national anthem, we lefties wouldn't stand up. If anyone would bother us, we'd either tell them that we were communists or Canadians, depending upon how big they were. In 2002, we suffered our greatest defeat as Giants fans watching the meltdown on Eric's new big screen TV at Peralta. I swear I've never seen so many men, come this close to tearing up. But then, just last year, we celebrated the World Series championship with Mikey, Wendy, Cisco, Jay, and I think Julio showed up on Mission Street. Hey, Jay, did you light that couch on fire, or was that Mikey? Every December, Jason would organize the Boys for the Los Lobos concerts in December. Jay and Eric were big-time fanatic Lobos heads, often going to both shows over the weekend. Eric always ate those Fillmore apples down to the core. In Venezuela, that was a big highlight, where we went to the World Social Forum. There we helped design a mural in the streets of Caracas. And folks, I just remember, I always just think about Eric and how many people I knew through him. So I've been mentioning all these names, and if it wasn't for Eric, I don't think I would have met those people. So Eric meant a lot to me in terms of how he really introduced me to so many folks. And I just want to put a shout out to Michelle and Fernando and Sarah and Patrick. They were all there pitching in. And I think also that time, Hillary had told me that she had discovered his missing salsa step that trip. Everyone who danced with Eric, we weren't sure. They're always like, he's got this secret step. And Hillary found it. How many times did I forget, and another thing, how many times did Eric forget his wallet? Do you guys know? He would order and get ready to pay, and he'd be like, where's my wallet? And then it was probably, you'd go into his car and there's gloves, there's flyers, there's everything. It had to be underneath there, right? But as Jay was telling me, it would all come out in the wash. He would say it would all come out in the wash. Well, we never did get back our money necessarily, but it did come out in the wash. Eric would help anyone he could, especially opening up his home to anyone in need. We will miss him, but we will continue to be inspired by his hard work and unrelenting commitment to a better life for everyone. He dedicated his life to the movement and his new wife, Lorena, and little girl, Michelle, with great passion. Eric brought people together. He helped create culture and had the biggest of hearts. Let him live through us as an inspiration as we continue to build a movement for justice and peace.